To start this tutorial off, I want to show you how to download the HP Classroom Manager software to your laptop if you don't already have it. What you're going to do is come down here to the search bar, type in Software Center. What Mr. Jackson has done for us is create us a software center where anything that we'd like to download, anything we'd like to update is already inside the software center. So you don't need a password to download any of these things in here to your device or to to your laptop or your desktop. So what you're going to do is you're going to find HP Classroom Manager. It says Teacher, and you're going to click Install. Mine says Reinstall because it's already installed, but you're going to click Install. It's going to download to your computer, and you'll end up with a icon that looks like this one. Okay. So when you open up or you launch the Classroom Manager, it pops up with a new class. So I already have my classes in here. But what you're going to do if you haven't already used it is you're going to create a new class. Okay. Now the difference comes in what kind of devices are in your room. All right. So if you have 3rd through 6th and you have Chromebooks in your classroom, you have to use room mode. User mode is what you're going to use if you have the HP 810s in your classroom. So if you are 7 through 12, you're going to use user mode. And I'm going to show you how to do both of those really quick. If you click room mode for a new one, you're going to enter the name of your room, okay? So you only have to do this, if you're doing room mode, you only have to do it once. You're not going to see all the different levels or the different groups like mine has here. Okay, so if you're using Chromebooks, you're going to use this. Yours is going to be EMS hyphen, my room is 3110 or C110, so it's 3110. Okay, now you can see I already have one here that I made before we learned how to do the user mode part. So I'm not going to click OK, but you're going to click OK. What that does is when the students launch their Google Chrome, when they open their Chromebooks up, in the top right hand corner, and I'll show you really quick so we're all on the same page. In the top right hand corner up here where they see Clever, they're going to see an icon that looks exactly like your little HP Tutor Manager, okay, the little blue computer with the little white dots. Okay, so they're going to click that, and then they'll see a drop down box, and they can go through and find your room number. Okay, so in order for the kids to get inside your classroom on the HP Manager software, they've got to go find your room, which is EMS hyphen whatever your room number is, and that's how they automatically start popping up. Okay, now for the HP 810s or the actual laptops, you guys are going to use user mode. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create a user mode real quick. I'm not going to create a new one because I already have mine here. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. All right, so if I were to click my 3rd block, all boys, and load them up, now you'll see that they start popping up and they're colored. Okay, takes just a second to load up. Now, obviously, whatever class they're in right now, because it's 8:35 on Thursday morning, whatever class they're in right now, they're not using the HP software. Okay, so because somebody else doesn't have them already loaded into their classroom and they're using it, I can use this now. All right, you see how some of these are grayed out. Okay, that means their laptops are more than likely not on. Okay, the ones that are green, they're here and their laptops are on. All right, so let's talk about user mode real quick. Whenever you do new, what really is going to pop up is this box right here. Okay, so mine says modify because it's already created, but when you do a new one, this is what's going to pop up. What you have to do is go in and enter your student logins. So you enter their logins that they get on their computer with, last name, first name, last 3 of their school issued ID. So once you list these in here, okay, once you list these in here and you open that class, they're all going to pop up. Okay, so once you have them loaded and you have all your classes ready to go, let's talk about the different things that you can do with this management software, okay? The easiest thing to do, first thing you need to do, is come over here to the little window panes, and it's monitor student machines. So I'm going to click on that, and you're going to see how it changes. Okay, so now I can see what each kid is looking at. I can see where each kid is going. I can see what they're doing on their computers. If I hover over, I get a quick little snapshot. Okay, so you got a whole lot of kids doing a bunch of different things, which is probably completely okay. So let's talk about different things that you can do. The first thing that you can do is, well, when you hover over them, they pop up like that. All right, so see, some kid is disconnected. Probably what has happened in this class is that computer has died, okay? Or they have logged off to do something else. All right, so if I click on a certain kid, okay, I'm gonna click on this one. If I click on this kid and then I come over and I do view client, let me show you what you can do with this. All right, so this kid, I have a view mode, I have share, watch, and control. Share is the mode that pops up. Watch is the only thing you can do if the student is on a Chromebook. Okay, so if a student is on a Chromebook, you cannot operate their machine. All right, so if I'm in share right here, and it doesn't look like this guy's doing a whole lot, he just maybe has his computer open. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things that I can do for him. Okay, you can chat back and forth with the student if the student has a question, and you can see when I open chat on my end, it pops up on his end too. Okay, so you see how we kind of have that going there. You can talk back and forth. If he's got a question, he can ask you here. If there's something you need to tell him, you can do that here. You can send a message. You can send it, and you can tell it how long to pop up, and it'll show up right here, okay, on his screen. The audio is really nice to have. You can turn their audio off if you got a kid that, just will not listen to you telling him to turn his music down. You can actually turn his audio completely off. Okay, you can listen to the PC. You can listen to whatever they're listening to if they have earbuds in, and you can talk to the PC. This one's kind of funny. If they don't know you can do this and you click talk to the PC, when you talk into your laptop, it'll come out of their laptop, and it kind of scares them a little bit. Okay. You can capture a screenshot of what that kid's doing. That's pretty helpful. And I have found that annotate is pretty helpful as far as math goes. I'm sure you could find lots of other ways to use it in your classroom too. So if you click on annotate, you get a little pop-up right here that's on your screen, and you can tell it, what tool do I want to use? I want to write, and I want to write in white, and I want it to be a little bit thicker so they can see it. All right. So because my laptop is a touchscreen, I can actually work a problem on the computer and they see it on theirs. Okay. So then you can start a problem and they can finish it. And if they're having an issue, you can kind of figure out where they're having an issue at. Okay. All while staying in one location and still monitoring, what's going on around your room. Okay. So when you're done with that, just click it and turn it off. So that's what you can do with one individual student. I have a help desk. Look here. This is kind of funny. So I have a help request. I was going to show you about this, but I'll show you since it's here now. So once they have a little icon on their screen. If I hover over here, do you see how they have a border up at the top? That lets them know that they're in the HP Classroom software. Okay, so that lets them know that a teacher is monitoring what they're doing. You can turn this bar off if you don't want them to know. Okay, it's up to you, whatever you decide. But when they have a question, they have this little lifesaver right here. They can click it. So if they're doing anything in their room that they have a problem with, okay, they can click that and it'll pop up on your help request right here. You'll get a little notification. So if I click here, I see that it's this kid, and he says, which class is this? So he's kind of confused, right? Because it's not his class right now, because obviously I don't have him in my room because I'm making this. So anyway, I have to make sure I clear that up with all of them. So I'm going to clear all. So now that deletes my help requests. Okay. I'm going to turn the student toolbar off. This button right here lets you turn it on and off. So now if I hover over, you'll see it's gone. So it doesn't look like they are in a classroom. Okay, couple other quick things I want to show you. Communicate. You can communicate as a whole group. For instance, the other day I was in a training. I was in the district in a training, and I opened my laptop up to see what my kids were working on, and a lot of them weren't working. So I just clicked communicate, send a message, and you can choose to send it to all the connected clients, or you can choose to just send it to a certain few kids. Okay, so I send a message saying, get back to work. I can see what you're doing. So sending a message is nice. Announcement will actually announce it to, their computers. And if you're the type of person that likes to do preset messages, you can, add your own here. Another important thing that I think is really nice, a couple more, lock, unlock, and blank all. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on this kid right here because he's not doing a whole lot, so he may not notice if I turn him on and off. So I'm just going to lock him. Do you see how the lock popped up on his screen? And I can only do it for one kid, or I could do it for the whole. If I wanted to do it for the entire class, I would just click off so that none of them were highlighted, and then I'd click lock. All right, so I'm going to unlock him. Okay, so he pops back to normal. And then I want to show you what happens if you hit blank. Now, blank all is one of those things where it does everybody. So the blank all only works on all of them, okay? Now, if you're using HP Classroom Manager and you only have Chromebooks in your room, you don't have quite as many features as using the HP Manager with the devices, with the 810 devices, okay? So you're kind of limited, but the things that you can't do will pop up here grayed out, kind of like this, okay? So we've talked about View Client, which is really important, lock, unlock, blank all. We talked about communication, help request, and how to turn the student toolbar on and off. All right. Manage is really simple. You can either turn all their computers on, you can power them all down, you can reboot just the selected client if a kid's having problems. So that's kind of a powerful tool there. Web access is really nice. Okay, so if I look at web access, I got a couple of different options. Unrestricted, approved only, block restricted, or restrict all. Quick note to make, if you're using a Chromebook and you do restrict all, the machine pretty much becomes useless only because it's a web-based machine, so it uses the internet for everything. So if you do restrict all, none of the Chromebooks are going to work, okay? All right, so let's talk about these different things. You got approved only and block restricted. So if I come over here to the left-hand side to this world, if I click here, I get a little tab down here that pops up. Now you'll see that I've added Spotify and YouTube to my restricted websites. And you do that by just clicking plus, typing in the URL, or copying and pasting and clicking OK. All right, so that way they'll pop up here. And you can also do approved websites. Okay, so whichever way you prefer to do that. So if I were to do, since I have this list on restricted, if I were to come up to web access and do block restricted, and I'm not going to do it just because these kids are actually working, if I were to do block restricted, anytime those kids try to get to Spotify or to YouTube, a lock screen would come up, just like the one up here. So it would show them that they couldn't get to what they were trying to get to. If you do approved websites, like say you're doing a web quest and that's the only website you want them to go to, actually I don't know if that would work or not for a web quest, you have to go to different websites, but whatever you're doing in your room, if you want them on one website and one website only, you would put it in the approved website list, and then you would do approved only. So you see how I don't have any websites on this, so it's going to be grayed out right here, okay? But if I did have a website over here, then I can show only approved websites. So that's really kind of what you like to do in your room. It depends on what topics you're doing and what activities you're doing in your room. You can co-browse with the kids. You can start, their machines up. You can start your machine up, and whatever you go to on your laptop, they see on their laptops. So this is kind of similar to us using our smart boards, except it's right there in front of them. Okay, so you don't have to worry about them not being able to see. It's on their laptop. Manage class is pretty important. I need to hit this for the people who are using the HP 810s in their classroom. If you have a kid that leaves your room or that comes into your room, like a new kid, you want to go to modify class, you just delete the kids that leave and you input the kids that are coming in, okay, and they'll automatically pop up. Quick launch is also a really nice thing to look at. If you have a certain YouTube video that you want them to look at, you can enter it here, add item, add website. You can type in the URL here, and everybody, once you launch that website, everybody goes to the same thing. I can see this being pretty helpful, especially in the lower grades. You don't have to worry about them typing in the correct email address. They don't have to go to their Google Classroom and click on a link. You just automatically launch it to them. Okay. One more thing, and I'm trying to keep this kind of short. One more thing I need to talk about before I sign off on here is how to get rid or exit your classroom before your kids leave. Okay. So you always want to do manage class and end class. Okay. That's really important, especially with the room mode ones, especially with the Chromebooks. If you don't end your class, then when they go to their next class and try to log in, they can't log in. Okay. So you always want to be super careful that you end the class. Also, if for some reason you happen to click co-browse and they're looking at what you're looking at and you don't end that class, then when they leave your room, if you're still in that mode, they're still seeing everything that you're searching on your computer. Okay. So be really, really super careful to always end the class whenever your students are leaving your room. Okay. In the class. All right. And so then you just click quit and everything's back to normal. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know, Tara know, or Megan Garrison know. Also, Frank Jackson's really well versed in this also. Okay, so if you have any questions, just ask us, send us an email or stop us in the hallway and we'll try to come help. Thanks.